everyone, and welcome to How She Moved the Music Notes, Episode 4. My name is Tila Pizzatella, and today we will be discussing the genre of hip-hop and artist Lauryn Hill. Hip-hop is a genre of music categorized by a strong rhythmic beat and a rapping vocal track. Hip-hop originated in the Bronx in New York City in the 1970s. Kool Herc, a Jamaican immigrant, was credited as the founder of hip-hop, being the first hip-hop DJ. At a party in the Bronx on August 11, 1973, DJ Kool Herc introduced the technique of playing the same album on two turntables and extending the drum section. Many recognize this as the night that hip-hop was born. At this time, there was a holy trinity of hip-hop: DJ Kool Herc, Africa Bambaataa, and Grandmaster Flash. You might be wondering how the name of hip-hop came about. Keith Wiggins, a member of the rap group Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, used the words hip-hop to imitate the sound of soldiers marching in reference to a friend who just joined the army. The first major hip-hop song was Rapper's Delight by Sugar Hill Gang in 1979. It is widely considered to be the first significant single of the genre. It reached the top 40 on the U.S. Billboard charts and put hip-hop in the spotlight. The four pillars that formed hip-hop were DJing, rapping or MCing, breakdancing, and also graffiti at this time. An added but not essential pillar was a sense of street fashion. The late 1980s and early 1990s were seen as the golden age of hip-hop, with many artists gaining commercial success, such as Tupac Shakur, the Notorious B.I.G., MC Hammer, and Snoop Dogg. At this time, hip-hop is a male-dominated genre of music and criticized for being extremely sexist and showing women as sex objects. It is also criticized for normalizing violence against women and depicting women as things to use and abuse. Sexist language found in hip-hop often describes women as bitches or hoes. Black women are predominantly the objects of this language, and male rappers often portray hyper-masculine images of themselves to prove their masculinity and dominance over women. Still, women rappers asserted themselves in this genre and now make up much of hip-hop, such as Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, and Megan Thee Stallion. And here are just a few of those other female pioneers that have shaped hip-hop. MC Lyte was the first solo rapper to release her own full-length album, Light as a Rock, in 1988. Queen Latifah is also one of the first female rappers who was a part of the New York's Native Tongue crew. She rapped about experiences of a black woman in songs like Ladies First and UNITY. Roxanne Shante started rapping at the age of 9, known for her rhyme schemes and flow patterns, as well as her diss tracks and tough talk. Chirac was the first female to record on vinyl, and also was known as the mother of the mic. And Da Brat, a Chicago native, was the first female rapper to sell 1 million copies of her debut album, Functified. And our highlighted pioneer, Lauryn Hill, is categorized as a neo-soul artist bridging the gap between hip-hop and personal music. Lauryn Hill is both an accomplished singer and rapper. Her records show her switching easily from wordplay to harmonizing. She ushered in the generation of singing rappers that followed. Her solo career was praised for its deeply personal lyrics, which addressed themes like the meaning of self, family, and community. Lauryn's approach was seen as a thoughtful, intelligent, and vulnerable rarity in this genre. She is most well known for her critically acclaimed album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, that was released in August of 1988. The album went multi-platinum and was nominated for 10 Grammy Awards, winning 5 of the 10, both of including Best New Artist and Album of the Year. Now let's take a look into Lauryn Hill's early life before she was known as the mother of hip-hop invention. She was born on May 26, 1975 in South Orange, New Jersey. She attended Columbia High School, where she was a cheerleader, ran track, and was a part of the choir. In the beginning of her singing career, she and her high school classmate, Michael, performed together under the name Translator Crew. They were soon joined by Praz's cousin, Wyclef Jean. They later renamed the group the Fugees and signed a record deal in 1993. Praz and Wyclef were Haitian men who called themselves the Fugees, short for refugees. Lauryn and Wyclef were soon romantically linked at this time, on and off for years. The Fugees released their first album in 1994, Blunted on Reality. It was not well received. However, their second album, The Score, released in 1996, went multi-platinum. Their version of Roberta Flack's Killing Me Softly with His Song, featuring Hill's rich, clear voice, became a worldwide hit and gave her massive exposure. The Score won a Grammy for Best Rap Album and sold over 18 million copies. It also primed Lauryn Hill for stardom. Critics of the Fugees said that Lauryn Hill overshadowed her partners and that she should strike up on her own. So by the end of their tour for The Score, Lauryn Hill was not happy with the Fugees. Tension between her and Wyclef became obvious, and their playful interactions on stage became pointed. Lauryn learned Wyclef was releasing a solo album before her, and she was angry. Lauryn was quoted talking about her record label, Columbia Records. "I can't believe these motherfuckers. I've been talking about making my solo record for the longest, and they are doing everyone's album but mine. I'm leaving the group. I've had it." Lauryn started dating Rowan Marley, the son of late reggae legend Bob Marley. Within months, she would be pregnant with their first child. She did appear on 5 of the tracks on Wyclef's solo album, The Carnival, and he began publicly discussing his part in her solo album, assuming he would be producing her new album. However, Lauryn said, "I don't want to fuck with them. I just want to get a whole new crew," when discussing her project with Sony Music. She ultimately left Wyclef and Pras out of her solo album entirely and assembled a new group she named The New Ark. Lauryn had a blueprint in her head for a long time for her solo. She traveled to Miami, Jamaica, and New York City to piece the project together. Even though having the support of her record label, there were still concerns. What would a Lauryn Hill record look like without Wyclef? What the album looked like was an album that landed on the #1 Billboard spot and broke a record for the highest number of first-week sales for a female artist. The album touched on subjects that were not previously part of hip-hop vocabulary: emotions, heartache, and even questioning self-identity. She fused the album with themes and styles from different types of music and showed her singing and rhyming ability. The album had a beginning, middle, and end. She starts off with an angry note, but travels through a range of human emotions and lands on peaceful self-discovery. Lauryn became a global superstar and touched topics that other rappers had never before. At this time, she's only 22 years old at the creation of this album. She was criticized for her own personal life and choices. While her album had clearly biblical themes, Lauryn was criticized for having 2 children out of wedlock with Rowan Marley. She was also sued by her new creative team, The Ark, once they saw how successful her album became. In their lawsuit, they claimed that Lauryn only gave them an oral contract in the form of a prayer huddle. This created a lingering sexist notion that she could not have accomplished this on her own, even though many other successful male artists had creative teams who supported them. Lauryn settled the lawsuit in 2001 for $5 million. Her success was not to be denied. She broke a record for receiving the most Grammy nominations for a woman at the 41st Grammy Awards with 10 nominations. She set a record that same evening by taking home 5 awards, the highest number of Grammy wins by a single artist in one ceremony. Yet she has not produced a follow-up album. Many wonder, including myself, why did Lauryn Hill disappear from the music scene? There are a lot of theories about why Lauryn Hill left the music scene. One is she felt that the music industry was more about hype and commercial success than helping her develop as an artist. She had lingering suspicions of her recording label, as they had not wanted to release The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, as Hill had created it. They wanted her to replicate the sound of Killing Me Softly that she had branded with the Fugees. She's quoted saying, "I had to step away when I realized that for the sake of the machine, I was being way too compromised. Fantasy is what people want, but reality is what they need. I've just retired from the fantasy part." She's made occasional appearances and toured, but she's gained a reputation for being very erratic and for being late to her performances. Back in August, Hill addressed critics in a 2016 Facebook post in this way: "I do not show up late to shows because I don't care, and I have nothing but love and respect for my fans. The challenge is aligning my energy with the time, taking something that isn't easily classified or contained and trying to make it available for others. I don't have an on and off switch. I am at my best when I am open, rested, sensitive, and liberated to express myself as truthfully as possible. For every performance that I've arrived too late, there have been countless others where I've performed in excess of 2 hours beyond what I am contracted to do, pouring everything out on the stage." Still, Hill was criticized for her erratic behavior, canceled shows, and what some called the gaslighting of her fans when they complained about her behavior. Lauryn's personal life and relationships have also been seen as a source of pain and influence on her withdrawal from the limelight. Lauryn's longtime partner, Rowan Marley, was revealed to be having an affair with Lauryn's personal assistant, who was also a family member of hers. Hill and Marley ended their relationship in 2009 after having 5 children together. At the time Lauryn learned of Marley's affair, Lauryn was blindsided by this information. She also learned that Marley was married to another woman during their relationship, which felt like the Wyclef situation. Wyclef released an autobiography in 2012 where he revealed details of his love affair with Lauryn. This included the fact he was romantically involved with Hill even after he married another woman, and that Hill attended that wedding. Gene revealed that he was most angry with Hill when revealing that he and Hill continued their affair. He thought her first baby, with Rowan Marley's, was his. When he learned that the baby was Marley's, he was quoted as saying, "She, Hill, could no longer be my muse. Our love spell was broken." Of course, Gene was married to another woman at this time as well, so there's not much to uphold in this fight. Because much of Lauryn Hill's work had a Christian influence, she was criticized by many fans for her relationships with married men and having children while not being married. Hill's business practices have not always been stellar either. In 2012, she was charged with tax fraud and spent 3 months in prison and 3 months in home confinement for failing to file tax returns in 2005 to 2007. Still, the world yearned for a follow-up album that never came. In a rare interview given to Rolling Stones magazine in 2021, Hill shed some light what happened after the release of her iconic album. She's quoted saying, "The wild thing is that no one from my label has ever called me and asked, how can we help me make another album, ever, ever. Did I say ever? Ever. With the Miseducation, there was no precedent. I was, for the most part, free to explore, experiment, and express. After the Miseducation, there were scores of tentacled obstructionists, politics, repressing agendas, unrealistic expectation, and saboteurs everywhere. People had included me in their own narratives of their successes as it pertained to my album, and if this was contradicted my experience, I was considered an enemy." In a 2021 interview with Hill, she was asked if she could talk to her 22-year-old self now, what she would say. "I'd share the things I do now with my 22-year-old self. If I had known what I know now, things would probably have unfolded differently. I would have continued to invest in people, but I would have made sure that I had people with the love, strength, and integrity around me to really keep their eye on the prize and my well-being. The world is full of seduction, and if they can't seduce me, they can go after the people you love or depend on in some way. I would have with great understanding tried to do more to insulate myself and my loved ones from the kind of attack." It is obvious that the pressure of the fame felt by then 22-year-old Hill, as well as the toxic nature of her relationships and resulting mental health struggles, were part of her conscious decision to detach from the spotlight. Even today, however, people continue to talk about the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill as a groundbreaking work raising issues of motherhood, career, relationships, and love. Though many unhappy with no follow-up album, how can you complain with the wonderful Miseducation of Lauryn Hill? Thank you all for listening to episode 4 of How She Moved the Music Notes. My name is Tila Pizzatella, and tune in for the next episode where we will be discussing the pop genre and artist Beyonce. Bye!